So if we were to categorize all of our experience, all our existence into 3 words, we could call that what we see, what we hear, and what we feel. And with see, hear and feel, we have an external and an internal. We have what we see literally with our eyes, and what we see with our imagination when you're picturing something, when you're remembering something that appears somewhere in your thoughts, behind your eyes, maybe you imagine it in your eyelids or something. Equally, when you hear literally with your eardrums, and you hear with your thoughts. Some people are more talky in their head, some people are more visual in their head. And feel the same way. You feel literally your bum on the seat. Feel the vibrations underneath you. You feel physical temperature, clothing, impact, pain, whatever. And then of course you feel internally, emotional feel, that frog in your throat, the tingling, the excitement, this ball of either acid or warm, lovely balm when you're happy with something in your chest, tingling in your hands, your shoulders. Anger feels different from love, which feels different from erotic, which feels different from flow on a really neat corner. These simple words, see, hear and feel, can literally cover all of your experience. So we're going to have a little practical experiment in how we can observe stuff like this. So, for the love of all that is holy and unholy, please do not do this on the bike. But I want you to close your eyes and just notice what you see with your eyes closed. You might just see static. You might imagine this as being really, really close to your eyeballs because it is just your eyelids. Or you might see it differently. You might see this as infinite distance forward. See how wide is your vision, how high and low, what is this field of vision, how far does it go? This is your see in. If I told you to think about a pink elephant, that is what's coming up in the see category. We see with our thoughts. That's not news. We've always been able to do that. And then if you open your eyes, you see in a more mundane way, in a more literal way. You see the road surface, you see the sky, you see the PC screen, your phone in your hand, the chair that you sat in, whatever. All of these things during a mindfulness practice, formal or informal, can be labelled as such with just the word see. Every time your attention moves to something new, see. The leaves on the trees, see. Pothole, see. Speedo. You don't have to explain to yourself, verbally or non-verbally, everything that you see, but you can just give it that label, see. When hearing, it's the same thing. You hear out, you hear birds, you hear revs, wind, tyres, bumps, my voice. All of these things can just be labelled here as you're moving through life. And just like with see, when you're imagining things, when you're hearing yourself talk, when you're hearing arguments in the shower 2 hours later where you come up with a brilliant response, this is here. You can just label here. And feel is exactly the same. You can label feel. My bum hurts. Feel. Changing gear. Feel. Throttle. Clutch. And feeling in any emotions that come up. Rage at nearly being wiped out by an Audi, excitement at where you're going, love of the journey, of the ride, gratitude, all of these things you can just label feel. And in the same way that there is an experience outwardly, seeing, hearing, feeling with your physical body, and there is an inward sensation, seeing, hearing and feeling in, there's also an absence, there's also a restful state of all these things. If you closed your eyes and didn't see anything at all, that can just be labelled see rest. If you notice the absence of sound when you turn the engine off, hit the kill switch, come to a pause, whatever, shut the door, shut the window, and suddenly you hear rest, you hear absence, you hear neutrality, and you can look for where you would normally feel emotion, in your chest, in your solar plexus, in your stomach, in your angry shaking fists. And if there's nothing there at a certain point, you feel rest. So these labels you can literally just say to yourself as long as you like, short as you like. A formal practice would be, 10 minutes sat with your eyes closed, just doing see, hear, feel, labeling. Or you can do it out and about, day to day, just, without the eyes closed part. You can give maybe 20% of your attention to noting what you see, what you hear, what you feel, while doing everything else with orders of magnitude more focus. Stay safe and see you on the next one.